going to be really
So,
good. Hey,
so
Tracy.
hey, does everyone want to just type in where they're dialing in from tonight into the chat?
Yeah, great one. Yeah. Tell us a bit of information about yourself, where you're from. Brizzy, James, awesome. Any information about
Awesome.
yourself, that'd be great. Get a bit of a feel who's here and what are you guys all about?
So hopefully you can all find the chat box. It should just be down the bottom. You should see a little thing that says chat, and you should be Melbourne. Yeah, Tracy, good to see you on here.
Got some people from Queensland, Victoria.
Maryborough, awesome. Yeah. That's fantastic. All right. Well, look, it's 7 o'clock. I might start the screen share, and we can start. Hey, Noosa, awesome. And however, in Adelaide. Oh my gosh. Okay.
You're stuck in Adelaide during this virus, but you can't go home. It's an interesting. That's an interesting.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Good to have you on the this virtual training webinar. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. All right, we'll get going then.
Let's start. Let's get into it.
All right, so hopefully you can all see the screen. You'll have the chat box where you can just chat throughout. I'm just going to chuck that down the bottom if I can. I actually might have to get you to tell me the chats, Jake, because I just can't.
Yeah, I'll tell you if there's any questions or anything.
Sure, let me know. All right, cool. Well, welcome everyone, and we've got people from all over Australia, which is awesome. Awesome. And Jake, where are you tonight?
I'm in Hervey Bay, Queensland.
Beautiful. And I'm in Melbourne. So I'm guessing it's a lot warmer up there for you than it is here.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably, I don't know, 25 degrees maybe.
Beautiful. All right, well, welcome everyone. And look, it's a rare opportunity that you get Jake and I together. We came up with this idea that we would join forces.
Definitely. Rare opportunity, really good opportunity too.
Absolutely. All right, so Jake?
Okay, guys, some of the outcomes we're looking for today. We're looking for some really good outcomes. It's really the secrets to get a 10 out of 10 relationship for you, okay? So there's obviously lots of things you can do and lots of things you probably shouldn't do if you really want to stay congruent with the goal of achieving a 10 out of 10 relationship, regardless if you're single or in a 10-year marriage. It doesn't matter, okay? So we're going to cover the 3 biggest mistakes people are making right now that is holding themselves back from achieving that 10 out of 10 relationship goal that we all want so badly.
And we're going to go through the most powerful strategy to get you to that relationship that you want so much faster.
Our simple systems that will allow you to start your journey right now towards your 10 out of 10 relationship, okay? So we teach a lot of different tools and techniques, and during this, I hope you guys have a notepad and pen or a computer or something you can take notes on, because there's lots of different things and lots of different tools and techniques which we're going to show you on getting you on the right track to that 10 out of 10 relationship.
All right, so as Jake said, if we can just switch off our mobile phones and focus, because close Facebook, otherwise it's just going to be popping up. I know mine would be. And have, as he said, a notepad and pen just to take any notes, because we'll just be going through a lot of different things tonight. And if there's anything there that can help you achieve that 10 out of 10 relationship, you definitely want to be able to capture that tonight.
100%. And during this whole thing, guys, if you've got any questions or you want to say something or any comments, put it in the chat box, and if we get a chance to answer it, we'll do our best.
Absolutely. And tonight, if you make it all the way through the presentation with us tonight, Jake and I are going to give you a copy of our latest books and some resources that we've got, so that to really help you on your journey, to be just to make it easier for you.
Definitely. All right, guys. So at this stage, I'm just going to tell you a bit about me, so we get a bit of you get a bit of an idea who I am and what I'm all about, and sort of the journey I've gone through, I guess, to try to get to where I am right now, and on this this journey of relationship coaching and coaching people all over Australia and all over the world. So, approximately maybe 5 years ago, I was in a pretty bad place. I was depressed. I was in a really, really bad relationship with someone I didn't have any similarities with. It was a very painful time in my life, mentally and emotionally. Um, it's funny that in that time of my life, I also hated my job. So I dreaded going to work, but I also dreaded going home. So it came in this very, it, I hated my life. It made me quite suicidal, and it was on a dark path. And to be honest, I, I'm lucky I'm here right now. So it was a very hard journey. It was a lot of pain in there, especially because kids were involved, and it was emotionally exhausting and devastating. But it got to the point where I realized the past was bad and the present's bad, and I didn't change anything. The future was going to be terrible. So it was so much pain. I said, "That's it. No more. Change happens right now." And hopefully, some of you guys on this virtual training tonight can say, "That's it. The pain stops now. Now it's time to start living the life that I really want to do." So I quit my job, ended that terrible relationship, all in that 1 week, and started a personal development journey. Now that was quite a few years ago now, but it led me on this track to where I am right now. And though it was a lot of pain at the time, I don't regret what happened, and in a way, I'm grateful for what happened because it put me on this fantastic path to helping others. And it's such a fantastic, enjoyable path I'm on. I spend over 100 hours a week doing relationship coaching every single week. I wake up at 4:30 and I go to bed late at night. I put in a lot of hours, and it doesn't ever feel like work. And I guess that's really a trick. This is really my purpose, to help as many people as I can with relationships. So it was painful what happened, but I'm grateful and thankful because it put me on this fantastic journey to where I am right now. And hopefully I can help some of you guys and help as many people as I can. And I guess I'm very grateful because that journey and that's such a low place. Now I know, now it's led me on such a journey of these learning these tools and techniques. I have a 10 out of 10 relationship now with a fantastic, my ideal partner. Yeah. And that was no accident. I learned all the tools and techniques before putting them into practice, found my ideal partner, and really it's a 10 out of 10 relationship in every single factor. So it's a fantastic journey. Now I can help others do the same. And I'm so grateful for that. So went from a 0 out of 10 devastating spot where I was feeling very suicidal to now a 10 out of 10, and I love my life and I wake up feeling fantastic every day. You can start living that life you really want as well. Hopefully some of the things in this webinar really help you along the way. Now, if you can see on the screen here, there's a few of the things I've done just this year, all in relation to relationship coaching. I've talked on the radio. That was at Valentine's Day, talking about the best things people can do and the best tools and techniques they can put into play, whether in a relationship or they're single and they're looking for their Valentine. And some of the mistakes people make on why they get the first date and they never get a second date, which was it was a great thing. I answered lots of funny questions on the radio. And the picture on the left there is when I talked to 7 News the other day, all about relationships and in relation what we can do to strengthen our relationships or find their ideal partner in these times with the virus and lockdown and quarantine and all this sort of strange stuff. But you can still build a 10 out of 10 relationship and find your ideal partner in these times. Here's some beautiful pictures of my wonderful partner Tori. That's us on the left there is doing a tango class. I love it. Um, Unfortunately, now with the virus, they obviously don't do it at the moment, but I'm very excited to get started again. Something I love about tango is the man leads. The man leads the dance. He sets the timing and he sets the direction of the dance. It's very, it feels fantastic and I love it. And because of my erotic blueprint sensual, I very much enjoy dancing and looking at my partner's eyes and feeling that energy. The one on the right there is from a few years ago when we first started dating. We both enjoy doing CrossFit, which is something we're going to talk about tonight with strengthening your bond and doing similar hobbies. And we thought it'd be a funny picture to kiss while we're doing a deadlift there. And yeah, if you can do hobbies together with strengthening your bond, that's a really good little trick. So write that down. So if you can do a hobby together, it's very much strengthening the bond. If you don't strengthen your bond, you naturally drift apart, which I'm sure everyone's seen it in one way or another.
Thanks, Jake. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Paula Day, and I was in a relationship for about 20 years that wasn't really serving me. In fact, it was emotionally abusive, and it took me years and years and years to get to the point where I decided that it wasn't serving me to be in that relationship because I had kids involved. And like many mums, you don't want to ruin any experience for your children. So I stayed for a lot longer than I probably should have. And when I made that decision to leave, I thought that that was going to be the hardest decision that I had to make. But little did I know that the hardest decisions were yet to come. You see, when I left, he cleared out the bank accounts. I had a business. It was all in his name. I lost everything, and I walked away with my car, my children, and a box of Barbie dolls. For a couple of weeks before some money came in, I had nothing. I relied on my parents to feed my kids, but I was too proud to ask them for anything or tell them too much about my situation. So I just didn't eat. I just got through those couple of weeks. And then after that, I had to deal with so many issues that relationship had on me, the impacts of being emotionally abused, thinking that I'm not good enough, that how could anyone like me, how could I find another relationship with 3 kids, and my eldest son having autism as well and another disability. I was just thinking, it's just, how is this ever going to happen? And then starting again from scratch. And it was just such a struggle. When I finally got myself sort of sorted a bit and I started dating, patterns started to come up and I started to attract wrong guy after wrong guy after wrong guy. And I just seemed to see all the wrong things coming up, and I just seemed to just be seeing all the wrong guys until I sat back and I realized that I was running the same strategy over and over again that I had done for years, and that I had to look at myself from a different point of view. And I had been coaching for over 10 years at that point in the corporate space, and I hadn't applied any of the strategies that I'd used in relationships there to myself. And when I started to do that, I developed a strategy that helped me step forward, and I was able to get so much clearer on who I was letting into my life. I was able to put up boundaries, and I got rid of so many friends. I actually spent a lot of time on my own until I met my beautiful partner, who is my partner today, and we now are raising 5 kids together. I've been blessed to be able to be coached and mentored by some of these amazing coaches. Also speak to John Travolta recently about relationships, trained by Liz Richmond, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone. I've been lucky enough to speak at some amazing events to help people with their relationships. And I absolutely love what I do. It's my absolute goal to make sure that I can help as many people as possible experience an amazing relationship in their life. That's my beautiful partner, Johnny. That's us in New York, and we're lucky enough to go to Love Lane, so we had to get that photo, which was really, really cute. Jake.
We also got some questions here. Did you want to do the questions at just any time, or do you want to save the questions for the
Oh,
end?
yeah, sure. Like, what are the questions? I just can't see them, sorry.
Okay, I'll just click it.
Yeah.
All right. So Teresa asks, how does mental illness affect your relationship? That's a really good question, and quite a complicated one. It really depends on what the mental illness is and the severity, and how much does it affect you in your day to day, and can you still operate on a standard level? If it's just say it's mild depression, and there's ways you can work on making it better, it may affect your relationship a little bit, but I still think you'll be able to have a 10 out of 10 relationship. So it's a very big question there. So if you can give me a bit more context and exactly what you mean, maybe we could help a little bit more. Okay, so the next question, can you see the next question, Paul?
I can't see any of the questions, sorry.
The Q&A button down.
Oh, in the Q&A?
Yep, and
Yeah.
then just click answer live.
Oh, yeah, cool. So can being in a bad relationship cause you to be suicidal? Oh gosh, absolutely. A bad relationship can cause so many issues, emotionally and obviously could be physical. There's a lot of things that need to be worked out and almost undone, because you'll just be running a lot of the same strategies that you've been conditioned to. Jake, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, for sure. How do we know if our relationship is bad for us? That's a great question. That's a really good question. It really depends on a lot of factors, really. If a relationship is good for you, it depends if you're heading in the right direction, or is this other person constantly making your life worse? And can it be saved? Like, if it's if they're really abusive, probably a good idea to get out, depending on the severity. So it really depends on the severity of how bad the relationship really is, and if you think it can be saved, and if you really even think that they have the ability to learn and grow. So it's another big question. I'll just take the next one, Paul.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, go for it.
Lily Blueprint. So James, that comes from the Erotic Blueprint. Okay, the Erotic Blueprint's a fantastic thing. I recommend everyone go to the Erotic Blueprint website. Just search up the Erotic Blueprint, or you can send me a message later, and I'll take you through it. And then it sort of tells you a lot about yourself sexually, and what your partner likes sexually, and what you like and what you don't like. So it's made a huge difference in my life, and it can make a big difference in your life too. So check it out, and we can talk more about it later for sure.
Absolutely. Relationships can be really rocky at times. How do you know when it's time to give up on it? Yeah, absolutely. They can be rocky. They can get into some really bad situations. And I guess it depends on the severity, and if you think that it's worth working on or not worth working on, and also if that person is willing to work on it. And it depends if they're fully committed and you're fully committed, and it also depends what kind of rocky it is. So yeah, it's a tricky one, but I'm sure Jake or I would be happy to talk through that in depth after, just with yourself, if you want. What else have we got?
Anonymous has asked, is it wrong to think about another girl when being with someone at the same time? It depends how much it consumes your thoughts. Like, you're a human being. So it's sometimes hard to control your thoughts. You can't control all your thoughts. You're not a robot. So sometimes you're going to think about other people. If it's happening all the time, I'd probably ask yourself why and what's really happening. And here's the thing with thoughts. You can't control what thoughts you have, but you can control how long you have them for. So if a really negative thought comes in your head, like, oh, I'm a bit anxious and a bit worried that my partner's going to cheat on me. Imagine your head like a like a box, and you stick your hand in, pull out that thought, crumple up like a piece of paper, and throw it away. Every single person has had that thought. So try not to dwell on it. Just pick it up and throw it. Hope that helps.
All right. How do you know if your partner, or if it's you or your partner that's bad for the relationship? Well, we can only work on ourselves. So as much as we may want to change somebody else, unless they want to change, we can't change them. So by working on ourselves, by focusing on the things in the relationship that you want and not on the things that you don't want, if you do that for a while and see if things change. So an example is if they're walking in the door and you're going through everything that is wrong with a relationship straight away, it's going to make it difficult to work out whether you guys can make this work or not. But if you're focused on what's good, like, hey, I really love that you did that for me, thanks for that, that was really sweet. Focusing on the things that you want and seeing if that behavior comes out more, if that makes sense.
Great answer. Last question for now, guys. What's the difference between a narcissist and an alpha male? It's a good question. I hope no one thinks they're the same. First of all, I hear the word narcissist way too much. Every single person I talk to say my partner's a narcissist or my ex is a narcissist. There's not that many narcissists in the world, guys. Just putting it straight out there. The statistics for who really is a narcissist is actually pretty low. Secondly, an alpha male is someone who embodies leadership traits and an alpha male is truly humble. So they're confident but not cocky. They lead their relationship and their family in the best direction for success. They do what's best for them. They do what's best for their partner. They do what's best for their family. They truly live in their masculine energy, okay? And they are fantastic. They're really good. They're not out to hurt anybody. They're protectors. They're protecting and they live with a lot of inner strength. I can talk about what an alpha male is for a long time, but it's a very good thing. Okay, society and PC culture might put into your head that being an alpha male is really bad. It's actually not. It's actually a really good thing if you embody the right traits of what I believe it really is. All right, let's continue with the.
Let's continue. Let's close that for now. We'll continue on. Awesome. Okay, Jake.
All right, guys. So, as you're aware, how often relationships end is actually very high. 1 in 3 marriages end in divorce. And in China right now, this is increasing because of COVID-19. And no doubt, we're going to see it a lot in America, and we're going to see it a lot in Australia. A lot of other Western countries are probably going to follow suit. Why do we think that is? Is it because we're stuck inside and we actually find out when we spend extended periods of time with our partner that we don't actually like them? Why is this? So that's a very interesting thing to think about. And what's the problem is, I think a lot of people spend more time thinking about what sort of new car to buy, right? They put more effort into buying a new car. They look at fuel consumption, they look at the color, the K's, what state it's in, and how easy it is to get, the price. They put a lot of work into buying a new car. They don't put much work into finding a partner and who they're going to date. They usually pick it on proximity and attraction. That's a terrible way to pick someone who you're going to potentially spend the rest of your life with. So you want to pick someone with similarities, yes. So remember, opposites attract, but similarities are what bond us.
I love that. Love that. And look, the even sadder reality is that people stay in those bad relationships because they're comfortable, because the current dating culture to them is toxic, because of the fear that they can't do any better. or it's broken and they just don't even know where to start. So there's so much fear around that. And we don't want anyone to feel like they need to stay in a bad relationship for the fear of comfort or the fear of not getting out there or the fear of not trying to improve it. Because you've got a lot of life to live and you don't want to look back when you're 90 and look back over your life and go, gee, I wish that I had an amazing relationship. Instead, I just settled and I didn't work on it and I didn't do anything about it. And as Jake said, I spent more time looking at cars, or from a woman's point of view, perhaps like a new couch or like planning a bedroom or something like that, rather than actually working on your relationship or working on the future relationships that you may have.
Well said. So, guys, here's some myths. Now, these are some things you may be thinking or you may have thought. So, here's some myths about relationships. And here's some things I hear every single day from some very smart people, which is surprising to me. One I hear all the time lately is the virus is stopping me from meeting someone new. I can't find my ideal partner. What's the point of talking to them online? I'm never going to meet them. It's going to be months before I meet them. What's with all the negative excuses? You can't have results and reasons. You only can have reasons, okay? So get rid of the excuses. It's not helping you. It's not serving you in any way. Get rid of it. I hear it all the time. Don't tell me the excuse. I'll tell you the method. Use the method. Okay, this is a great time to meet someone. This is a perfect time to meet someone, especially for girls, because A, he's not one night stand you. He's not going to one night stand you because he's got to talk to you for a month before you sleep together. So this is a good time to get to know someone without worrying if he's going to call you the next day or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It's a perfect time. Perfect time. Another myth is I'm never going to get a relationship because I come with too much baggage. I hear this all the time. Oh no, I've had too much in my past, happen in my past. There's no way that I can actually be progressing in a healthy relationship because of all of my past issues. And I've got kids and I've got all of these issues from my past relationships. It's not true. I've been through a terrible relationship where I was emotionally and mentally talked down to for years, come out of that, gone through a divorce, rebuilt myself up and found someone absolutely amazing, actually everything that I dreamt of. And I've seen it time and time again in my clients, and so has Jake. So it's possible. It's just a myth.
Definitely. Another myth is all the good ones are taken. Or on the same sort of line, a girl might say to me sometimes, oh, I really like this guy, but then he got this other girlfriend, so I guess I'll just give up. There is literally thousands, probably even millions of potential partners that you could find. There's so many. So the good ones are taken that's a complete myth. And especially it's getting easier, guys. That's the good thing. You're living in such a great time if you're single. There's so many good dating apps that you can have literally thousands to choose from. It's not like back before, if you're dating back before those dating sites and you had to be, you meet someone at a bar and then you don't know much about them and it's a whole rigmarole. Now you can really go through the motions and really be really picky on who you want. It's a really good time. So all the good ones aren't taken. And a little thing to remember, if you become what you want to attract, it's going to be easier to find what you're looking for. So if you want someone with a 10 out of 10 body, but you're a fat slob who likes to play Xbox and eat Cheetos, you're going to have trouble. Become what you want to attract. And if you do that, you'll suddenly find that not all the good ones are taking. There's actually tons. Maybe you just need to increase yourself a little bit. Does that make sense?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. The 3 mistakes that we see. Jake, do you want to you start off here?
Yes, I love this one actually. A very common mistake I hear from a lot of my female clients is they make up rules in their head. They sit down with their girlfriends, I think, or maybe they watch, I don't know, maybe they watch Sex in the City, or maybe they talk to their friends. I'm not really sure where these rules come from, but they have all these rules in their head like, oh, I can't sleep with someone on the first date. It has to be 3 dates in. I can't do this and I can't do that, and I got to do it this way, and oh, I got to wait till this long to introduce them to my friends and all this sort of stuff. Guys, forget all the rules. We're not robots. We are human beings. So go with your gut feeling, go with your soul. You're a human being. You're a feeling creature. Yeah. So even if you go on a date 3 times with someone and it doesn't feel right, don't sleep with them. It's just not. You don't have that spirit. You don't have that connection. You don't have that attraction. So let it go. People make up these rules in their head, and all it does is hold you back. Rules in relationships, if you hold on to them too tightly, it will only breed negativity and bad results. Let go of the rules.
I love that. And they don't stay in their natural energy. I see this all the time with women really stepping into that masculine energy and taking control. And even right from the very start, they might be on the apps and they might be chatting, and then he's not getting back to you. So instead of just waiting and doing things that would fill up your day and your time and working on you, they take over and start texting back, and then they might plan the date, and it's just stepping into that masculine energy. And it's the guy is losing interest because the chase is no longer there. He's having to step into his, you're forcing him into his feminine energy, and it doesn't feel right for him. Yeah, Jake.
Perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right for him, but also it doesn't feel right for you because you're having to step into your masculine. We'll go a bit more into that a little bit into the
Take
tonight.
that, write that down, guys. Write that down. That is gold.
We'll get more into that. And yeah, running the same old strategies. So as I said before, if I refer back to my story, I was just meeting the wrong guy after the wrong guy because I was running the same strategies over and over again. And so many people say, I meet the wrong guy, and they'll describe it, and it's the same and the same and the same until you realize that the one key thing in that pattern is you. And then you can work on that to break that strategy and get a new one. Then you can move forward.
Perfect.
Jake.
Guys, the perfect date. I'm excited about this because dating is so important. Whether you're first time meeting someone, it's a first date, or you've been married 20 years. I don't care. You need to do it this way. Okay. But first, Paula, would you like to answer some questions?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Okay, so is this one for me? How long have you been a relationship expert?
I'm not
hang
sure.
on.
We'll just take it in turns answering it.
Just take it in turns. So I've been working in corporate relationships for probably about, I'm just trying to think, 15 years. I relate to my son. And then more recently, I've swapped to personal relationships. Jake?
Perfect. I've really only been dabbling in relationship coaching for a few years, and then really only got serious about it last year and really got into it, and now I do it full time every single day. Okay, next question. What about disc energies? How do you match these if you are opposite energies? It's a good question. So, um, it's a really good question. You gotta first figure out what you like. What are you attracted to? So I like to think about a bit. I'm going to explain it a little bit differently. So what I like is, if I could explain it to everyone, but this is more for the males. You might have noticed that all women are a different temperature. They're a different temperature, right? So some women are cold, not in like they're cold to you in a personality way. Just their energy is cold and cool. And other women who have a very hot and spicy energy. They're sassy and they got a lot of temperature. They're hotter. not in a sexy way, but their temperature is hotter. So if you could think like maybe a, South American tango dancer or something, and they're really sassy and they got a lot of energy, and they're not afraid to slap you, or like an Italian or something. They've got a lot of heat, if that makes sense. So you got to figure out what sort you like. I like girls with a lot of heat. That's what I'm attracted to. Even if someone's very gorgeous and they look fantastic, if they don't have that hot energy, I'm not attracted to them. So that's something to think about. You got to. It doesn't matter if your energies aren't the same. What matters is what do you like, and then if they like yours, so you can you can gel better. That's quite a complicated question, but I hope that answers it a little bit.
Cool. And how do you build confidence to ask someone out after a bad relationship? And the thing is, this is coming from a woman, and I don't know what your opinion is on this, Jake, but I don't think it's a good idea to be that first person as a woman to be asking the guy out, because you really are stepping into your masculine there, and you're taking away the chase from him. So if he doesn't want to ask you out, maybe he's not the right guy for you, and maybe there's plenty more out there. But you just need to fill up your world with lots of fun, exciting things and things that you love to really build your feminine and do things for you and focus on you. And when you're focusing on you, then he can come to you. If that makes sense.
That's a brilliant answer. That's a really good answer. A lot of girls hunt very aggressively for a relationship and really go into their masculine, and it can be a turnoff. So maybe my bit on that would be just be open to the idea, and put yourself in a position where he has the opportunity perhaps to ask you out, and sort of so you don't have your walls up as much, so you're approachable in your feminine
Yeah,
energy.
that's great. Oh,
One
yeah.
before we continue, how do you maintain a relationship with your children and an ex, and also with your current partner?
Do you want me
Great
to
question.
take this one?
Take a pull. That's a great question. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, it is often tricky with children and exes and current partners and all of that. Um, and I think it's different in every situation depending on how your relationship is with your ex. Um, they don't need to know everything about your current relationship. So that's okay, as long as the children feel happy and secure, and just you're talking to them about what's going on and what the changes are and how they're feeling and all of that. And that's what I've got currently at the moment, because Johnny's got kids and I've got kids. And so it's integrating two families together and making sure all the kids are feeling happy and safe, and anything that's going on is discussed. And of course, with the current partner, yeah, definitely in this climate, it's really tricky because, um, there's no escape. We've got the kids 24/7. So I think it's really important to make some time for you to still do somehow have a date. Like we're having dates on the couch. We're just having our time. We had a date going out to Kmart the other night. It was something to do, right? Something that was just ours. Making sure that you are spending time together.
Perfect. Keep asking questions, guys, and we'll just answer them at sort of sporadic stages, to sort of so we can keep working through the virtual training.
Yeah, we'll keep going because that will be answered. That one.
Yep.
All right. Did we finish this?
No, we haven't started that one. All right, guys, the perfect date. Make sure, guys, you can write this one down. Okay, so have your pen and paper ready. I believe this is the perfect way to have a date, whether this is your first date or your 1,000th date, because you're an old 80-year-old couple right now. Do it this way. It works. It works. It works. It works. It works. It works. Okay. The perfect date has 4 parts at least 4. Okay. You got asking them out, the approach, the pickup. Okay. Now, I don't care if you've been married 10 years. I'm going to say it 100 times. It doesn't matter if it's a long-term relationship or you first start dating. You still have to ask them out. So you say, oh, if you've been married a long time, you say, hey, honey, would you like to go on a date with me this Friday? That's just simply how you ask. Nice and straightforward. You don't beat around with it. You just say it like it is. And hopefully they like you. They say yes. And if it's your first date, again, you build what you want to do with your first date, and you're approaching on that first date. You want to build up a little bit of rapport first, so so you don't scare the girl straight off the gate. Build up a little bit of rapport, seem friendly, seem nice. I'd probably recommend that you don't try to be sexual. Try to be sexual before you meet someone is a very fine art. Most people stuff it up and come across as seedy and gross. So I'd probably avoid it and just come across as friendly. Okay. And then you just, after you build up a little bit of a rapport and you talk to them for a little bit and say, hey, look, would you like to get together for a date next Friday? Or whatever time works, and then work out the time. The second part of the date is the activity. Now, what I mean by activity is the perfect date has you do an activity together. It could be, you might be going rock climbing, you might climb a mountain, you might go to an arcade like Time Zone or an arcade to play games, go and play pool somewhere or something like that. It's good if you do something physical. If you do something physical, it's a good chance to use physical touch, bump each other's hips, be a bit flirty, be a bit funny, use your body a little bit and do physical things. Yeah. So like get up behind them, play mini putt-putt and stuff, grab them around the hips, show them how to do stuff. It's a good stuff to use a bit of physical touch in a playful way. And it's also a good opportunity to perhaps kiss or if the feeling's right. So it's a good opportunity to really flirt and get a good feel of the situation. The third part now on the activity, this now, as I said, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter if this is a first date or a thousandth date. Make sure the activity is in there, because if you just go to dinner with your wife every Friday, it's going to be super boring and you're going to lose that romantic spark. It has to be the activity in there to make it fun. Going to dinner every time, you've got nothing to talk about, it can be quite boring. Okay, so put that fun in there. The third part is the meal. So going to a nice restaurant. If it's your first date, guys, this is a good tip. Write it down. If it's your first date, you don't want to go to a really expensive restaurant, and you don't want to go to McDonald's. It has to be in the middle, a nice medium priced restaurant. Now, I don't really quite know why this is, but if you take a girl to a very expensive restaurant, it never works. You won't get a second date. It just doesn't work. If you go to the most expensive restaurant you can afford and it costs you $300-400 to go to dinner, she won't call you again. You come across as needy and desperate straight away and you look like you're trying to buy her. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So a nice medium price restaurant, like a nice burger joint or somewhere which is just nice and medium, it's nice and friendly and casual. Girls go on a first date with you guys just to see what happens. They're not looking for a marriage partner. So you may be thinking about marriage and kids, and she's just thinking about, oh, let's just see how it goes. It could be fun. See the disconnect? So nice medium priced restaurant. And if it's on your 100th, 1000th date, it doesn't really matter. Try lots of different spots. She already likes you. You can't mess up. The fourth part is the drop off. Okay, the end of the day. You're ending the day. It doesn't matter so much what happens at the end of the day. Don't put so much pressure on it. Here's some things not to do at the end of the day. At the end of the day, don't talk about the next date when you're on a date. You never want to say the sentence, oh, that date was really good. Let's do another one next Thursday. Don't do that. Ever. It needs to be a surprise. And that's something on this whole thing. If you say, oh, let's go on a date next week, honey, on Thursday. She says, yeah, sure. Where are we going? It's a surprise. It's a surprise. Just sit back and have a good time. It's a surprise. We're going to have a great time. The surprise factor always works. It builds attraction. Mystery builds attraction. And it's the man's job to lead the date in the right direction. Now, I'm not saying, girls, you can't take your guy on a date, but the majority of the time, guys, you should be taking them on the date, show them a good time, and make it a surprise. You have to plan it and execute it perfectly. That old argument, like you see in the memes sometimes, of people saying, oh, she can never decide where to want to go for dinner. If you're forcing her to make a decision, you're forcing her into a masculine energy, and you're not going to like the result. You make the decision, guys. It's your job to be the leader. It's your job to make the decision. Be decisive. Don't push the decision onto her. Okay, and we're going to talk more a bit later about. It's quite a long conversation about if you're trying to, say you're on your first date or your third date or whatever, you're just starting dating, and you want to sleep with the person you just went on a date with. We're going to talk about it later on, some different approaches on how to do that, and how to get the best result that you want without being too extreme. Okay, so write down all those things I said, make it a surprise, do the activity, and all that sort of stuff. Okay, it's all important stuff.
And it absolutely. And from a woman's point of view, just making sure that your guy knows that he's done a good job, that he has done something amazing for you. So just little comments like, "Hey, I really love when you surprised me the other night. That was awesome." So like he knows that, oh wow, she loved it, and it made me feel so beautiful or so loved. So using that feeling word, so that you're really into your feminine, you really are touching base, but also he really wants to know how it made you feel, because he wants to make you feel good. So yeah,
Perfect.
making sure he knows that. Okay, masculine and feminine. This is something that we were asked before. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can. There's so much with masculine and feminine energy, guys. There's
There
so
is.
so. I'll just tell you some quick points of what masculine energy is. Okay, so masculine energy is logical. Here's something to think about. Men typically talk in a logic pattern. They talk logically. Women naturally talk emotionally. So if you're having a disconnect, it's because you got to remember your woman's talking emotionally. She's telling you how she's feeling. So not everything she says is 100% factual. She's telling you how she feels in that moment. So if she says, "I hate you, you're the worst husband ever," that's probably not the case. She might be a really good husband, but that's just how she feels in that moment. So you got to try to remember that. So masculinity is another thing. So logical. It's also the protector. Yeah, you're a protector, and it's also strength. It's also, there's so many things with masculinity. It's also leadership qualities. Leadership quality is so good, and masculine energy also is decisive. Guys, if you're having trouble deciding, just make a choice. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. It doesn't matter if the decision is wrong or right. Just make your first gut decision you can. Masculine energy is being decisive. Remember that. Okay.
And with the feminine energy, it's tricky for women because we have been brought up, and maybe when we were young, we might have been told to eat some food that we didn't like, and then we eat that food and we're like, oh, and our parents go, no, 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 we can't. Don't tell us that you don't like it. Just pretend that you love it, because you're going to offend our guests or you're going to offend that person. So you pretend you love it and you suppress your feelings. And then you go along a little bit more, and maybe you're taught to hug a relative or kiss a relative that you don't really like, and you don't really feel good about it, but you're made to do it, and you're made to look like that it's okay, and you suppress those feelings. And as you're suppressing those feminine energy feelings, you're becoming more and more masculine. And then you get to school, and they reward everything that's masculine, everything that's up in your head, all your thoughts, and everything like that. So you're constantly being rewarded, and it can serve us so well in business. You're going to do so well being up in your head, in business, being in your masculine, but in a relationship, when we bring that, and I see it time and time again, and if I look back over my mistakes, that was a big mistake that I was making, that I was bringing that masculine that I had into my relationship. And so many women do, and especially high-powered women. You've got this amazing business, and then you bring it into the home. You want to manage everything. You want everything scheduled. You want to just get your thoughts out straight away, and you want to plan things, or you want to text first, and you can't wait for him, and so you plan stuff. You're stepping right into your masculine there, and you're forcing him into his feminine, and then you're wondering why you're not feeling good and he's not feeling good. There's a disconnect, and then you start to become more distant because he's not feeling like there's any chase. He's not feeling like he's needed, and you're feeling like something's wrong because it's not your natural energy. To get into your feminine, so many people ask me this, like, how do you get into your feminine? It's really about feeling. It's get out of your head. Stop thinking about it. If there's a moment, just stop thinking about it and start working out how you feel and talk from your feelings. So, oh, that made me feel really good when you did that. Or that made me feel a little bit hurt. Or that made me feel this. And also giving him time to respond. So often we'll sort of jump in and we'll ask a guy a question as he walks in the door. And he's just walked in the door. He's like, oh gosh, I've just got to like settle or something like that. And we will ask a question. And then he's thinking about that. And because he hasn't responded quickly enough, we'll just leap into another question. And maybe we'll chuck in a multiple choice there. And he's like, what? Now I've got 3 different questions to answer. Oh my God. Like, I don't even know where to start. And he's just going to walk off. So, yeah. So get back into your feminine. If you have to, I say to a lot of my clients, just to take a breath, see how you're feeling, even count to 3 before you even respond. Just give yourself some time to think about how you're feeling and talk from how you're feeling about it, rather than just trying to think it all through and take control.
Perfect. I see all your questions, guys. Keep answering questions. We'll save it. We'll save the questions for a bit, for a few more minutes. Time's gone super fast. It's already approaching almost to an hour, so we'll just answer questions in a little bit. We'll take down notes and keep thinking of more questions, and we'll get to them. Okay.
All right. So, Jake.
Okay, so here's some really good things to think about. Okay. And know if you're wanting to find your 10 out of 10 relationship and what's it all about, and where you feel love, attraction, and commitment and trust, and where you can't wait to see each other, where you want to spend time together, want to feel completely supported, completely in love. If these are things you're really thinking about and really want in your life, you're in the right place. You're listening to the right people right now, because this is exactly what we do. We help people get these stuff. So you're definitely in the right place, guys.
And if I share an experience from one of my clients, Sam, she thought she knew everything about relationships, and she had a relationship and she just wasn't sure whether it was at that point where, do I stay and work on it or do I just leave now? But she had read every relationship book that you could think of. She'd YouTube everything. She had emails coming in from everyone. And she was just like, she researches everything, this lady. So, but the thing is, she had so much information going on, she didn't even know where to start. And what she had come to the conclusion of, though, is that this had happened in the past over and over again for her in each relationship. And the common thing was her. So even if she did choose to move on to a different relationship at this point, she knew that this pattern could come up again and she couldn't work it out. So she started to work on her, and we worked together on her. And what was amazing is that she was coming at her relationship from this scared little girl inside, and coming at it with all of these rules that she was finding from everywhere. And after we worked together for a while, she was able to come into her relationship from the woman that she had become, and actually see that relationship blossoming. And so she's still in that relationship. It's actually improved so much more than ever, and she's still really, really happy. So it was really good to see that she actually recognized those patterns coming up over and over again, and that common issue was actually with her that she needed to work out.
Josh and Brittany, guys. Josh and Brittany are a couple I'm coaching right now. I've been coaching about maybe 3 weeks. Now, their relationship, when I first started coaching, was probably about a 2 or 3 out of 10. And now it's up to an 8 or a 9 out of 10. So a big improvement, very fast. Obviously, still a long way to go. And they're right at the pointy end of getting it. So 8, 9 out of 10, that's pretty good. It's not a 10 out of 10. So we're still working on a few things, but they've come a long way working on mainly communication. And also Brittany struggles with being in her feminine energy. Okay. She's had a very hard past. she had a very, very hard childhood, one of the hardest I've ever seen, passed around and really, really had a very struggling time. So I think her masculine energy comes from wanting and needing to protect herself. So, but it's also she tries to be too masculine in her relationship. One of the things I tell Brittany all the time is you've got to remember femininity is like a rose. You got a big, beautiful red rose. It smells great. It looks great. It's soft. It attracts the bees. But a rose also has thorns. When she's in a masculine energy, she's leading with her thorns. Don't lead with your thorns. They're only for life and death situations. Lead with the rose. You catch more bees with honey. You catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Yeah. So lead with that. So I showed her how to use a feminine energy properly, and the relationship has really come a long way.
And in both of these situations, they decided to take some massive action, which is so important. And in both of our experiences too, like we've taken massive action because it's so incredibly important these days, especially. We're in this situation where we're now in isolation, and it's almost like our money means nothing. Our jobs are being lost, and what it comes down to is the relationships that we have.
So, guys, at this stage, we'll answer some questions because we're at the pointy end of the virtual training and the pointy end of the webinar right now. So I'll just bring up the questions tab and we'll have a look what we got. Okay, first one's for me. Question for Jake, that's me. Does age play a part in deciding who to date? On a certain level, yeah, I think it probably does. If you're dating someone under 16, you're going to go to jail. Secondly, which is an obvious one, obviously. So, but I'm sure that's not what you meant. So, what I think, if you're dating someone more than, say, maybe 20 years apart, you're going to have maybe some disconnect. You're going to have some trouble talking about similar things. Not to say that you can't have a 10 out of 10 relationship. If there is a big age difference, you probably still can if you still practice the right things. But the further that age difference is apart, like if it's say 30, 40, 50 years apart, that's a pretty large disconnect. That's generations, several generations apart. So, but 10 years or less than 10 years, you're fine. Less than 10 years, no worries at all. I've seen lots of couples who are 10 years apart exactly, and they have fantastic relationships, 10 out of 10 relationships. So if you'd like to put in another question about how far your relationship is apart in age, or perhaps who you want to date is apart in age, let me know.
The next one. Okay, I'm asking for those who have been in a long-term relationship, 20 years plus. I'm not a person who would chase a man, as I don't have the confidence like that, but just wondering for those who want to move on and take that next step, the man could be too shy to ask. Oh, okay. Actually, I think this is more of a guy question. You want to take this one, Jake? The man could be too shy.
Okay, sure. So yeah, perhaps he could be too shy. Perhaps he has a very strong fear of rejection. So look, there's still things you can do. If he seems very shy and he might seem like he likes you a little bit, you can talk to him a little bit. Now, not saying ask him out, but you can talk to him, be friendly, create some conversation, say hello here and there, create a bit of conversation, some small talk, create a bit of rapport, and then hopefully he builds up a little bit of confidence to ask you out. So along with building that rapport, you want to build up his attraction. So you got to remember, everything you say and everything you do either makes his attraction for you go up or down. So really, really keep that in mind. So yeah, but he's absolutely too shy, even after all that building up of attraction and being friendly and nice, you got to think, is that someone you really want to be with? If they have so much devastating fear of rejection that they're not even willing to ask someone out who's nice and friendly to them and there's a mutual attraction there, he's going to have trouble with a lot of other things in his life. So you have to wait for him to be ready. If you force him too much into it and you have to step into your masculine to ask him out, the relationship's going to have a weird, unhealthy dynamic. And you're going to have, if you think about it like building a house, if you don't set up the foundation right, the house is going to fall over when there's a strong wind. So it might not seem like any issues, but then a problem or a strong wind comes along and the house falls over. So you really got to set up that foundation properly.
Okay, cool. Well, the next question, I'm not sure if it's a joke or if it's an actual question, but I will answer it. Obviously, it's always fun to have fun with your partner and him slapping your butt and stuff like that. That's awesome. Just fun play together. But if he is actually or she is not that great to you, then obviously you've got to work out what's going on and whether it's something that you want to work on or you don't want to work on. And if there's something that you can work on in yourself to attract more of what you want in your relationship, that may be a good place to start.
Okay. Next question. How does being too sexually or not sexually enough affect your relationship? Yeah, great question. So if you're in a marriage or being together, if you're with a partner and you don't have sex very often and it's almost a sexless relationship, or you don't feel like having sex and you might only have sex once a month, or as the relationship's going, the sex is going down, you got to be very conscious of the fact, and if your man wants it all the time and you're constantly turning him down, that attraction and that love will turn into angst and hatred very, very fast. So you got to be conscious of that as well. You got to remember, attraction is a very fluid, fluffy thing. It can come and go like that. If you're the difference between a 10 out of 10 relationship and breaking up is not that far apart. Okay, it can happen from week to week if you mess up too much. Obviously, if you cheat on your partner or something, it could end like that. So it's not something that it's just can stay forever without any work, or you can do whatever you want. So being too sexual, I don't think you can be too sexual unless it's such a disconnect from your partner that you're making them sick or something. But not being sexually enough definitely can have a lot of negative side effects. So you got to figure out how, if that's a real problem for you, you got to figure out how to take it to the next level, possibly by using the erotic blueprint.
And absolutely, like to add to that, especially if you're a woman and you're there not wanting to have sex with your partner, or you're laying there and you're making excuses, I've got my period, I've got a headache, I'm really tired all the time, you've got to look into that deeper and think about it and think, do you really want to be with this person still? Are you still sexually attracted to this person? Because in all honesty, for women, the more that you actually are sexually active, the more that you have orgasms, you're going to do better in life. So women need to be with someone who's going to give them that more often. And the more that you love someone, the more you're going to want to be there doing everything as well. But if you're feeling like a disconnect, like you're not really wanting to do that, and I hear a lot of women going, oh my God, I'm just going to have a headache, I've got my period for an entire month. So when you're getting to that point, you've got to think, do I want to be in this relationship and work on it? Am I actually sexually attracted to this person anymore? Or is there a disconnect, and do I need to think about what's going on? What else have we got?
Okay, so people can change after time in relationships, violent, abusive. What are the early signs that this could happen so you can hopefully get out before it breaks you? Yeah, it's a tough question, really, without knowing exactly what's happening. But obviously, some signs would be if they don't want to spend any quality time with you, they don't want to do any hobbies with you, they don't like, they just have zero interest in spending any quality time with you. They're showing signs of very low attraction. That's a good sign to really figure out what's going on and have a chat. So attraction is a great way to tell how someone's acting. So if they're hanging all over you, they're buying you gifts, they want to be sexual with you, they're very attracted to you, that's showing a very high attraction level. If they want nothing to do with you, they don't want to talk to you, they don't respond to your calls or your texts, they really find any excuse not to be around you, that's showing a low attraction level. Attraction, if you can figure out what their attraction level is or try to have a good sense of it, that will tell you every answer you need to know.
Okay, when you've been in an abusive relationship, how can you learn to trust in a new relationship? Yes, it's really, it's such a difficult situation when you've been through abuse, whether it's mental or physical abuse, and to learn to trust again. And often those people say to me, I can't trust anyone and I've got trust issues. And that's all about working out how you're going to trust yourself again, and what's going on inside of you that you need to work on to get to the point where you can fully trust you and love you again, to be able to step forward as your best self into that next relationship.
James, I really love this question. Maintaining connection, prevention of disconnect. Yeah, I love that question. And we've all experienced it, whether it's someone who you used to be friends with and over time you slowly drifted apart. It happens. Humans naturally drift apart if we don't consciously make the effort to strengthen that connection and strengthen the bond. So how to maintain connection? Super simple, super simple. Do hobbies together. That's it. So if you love going fishing and your partner loves going fishing, go fishing. If you like climbing mountains, or if you do something every week. If you're both pretty much open to anything, do something different every week. Oh, we're playing squash this week. We're going to go bowling next week. We're going to climb a mountain the week after that. Oh, we're going to go and do bowling. We're going to go on a jet ski. We're going to go to the island. We're going to go fishing, camping. There's so many things in the world to do. That's the trick to maintaining that connection. It's like hanging out with your best friend. The more you hang out with your best friend, the more you seem to like them. It's going to be the same with your partner. Hang out with them more. Do those hobbies one-on-one. Yeah. Don't have a whole group of people. Maintain the one-on-one. Spend lots of time together like your best friends, and you become best friends. And that's really the trick of maintaining a really strong connection. Strengthen the bond together. Maintain it. Because if you don't spend any time together, you'll just naturally drift apart. And then people end up calling me and saying, oh, we don't spend any time together and our relationship's terrible. We've got low attraction, because you let yourself drift apart.
Absolutely. Are men attracted to independent women? Good job, self-sufficient. I absolutely believe so, because I'm a pretty independent woman and self-sufficient, have my own business, looked after my kids on my own, all of that. I absolutely feel that men are attracted to women who have a lot of things going on in their lives and are confident in their own lives, as long as they're still maintained in their feminine energy and they're not being too masculine, too controlling, and really pushing the guys away. If you're filling up your life with amazing things, you're exciting, and if you're working on yourself to be who you want to attract, you're probably looking great, you're feeling great, you're doing things that are for you. Of course, men are going to be attracted to that. Jake, I'd like to hear a man's point of view on that.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. This is a really good question. And Tracy, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take sex out of it completely. Right? This answer works for men and women. Okay. No one wants to date a loser. The only person who losers want to date is another loser. Okay. So if becoming what you want to attract, if you want someone who's a 10 out of 10, they're ambitious, they're a go-getter, they're chasing down goals and they're really smashing it, and they're trying to be the best in the world at something, and they're really going hard, they're going to be attracted to someone who's the same. They're not going to be attracted to a loser. It's the same as you don't see someone who's a bodybuilding professional going out with someone who's really obese. Like maybe there's one option, but it's not very often. That's very, very rare. So it doesn't matter what your sex is. People are attracted. Everyone's naturally attracted to someone who's a winner, someone who's a champion, someone who's a go-getter, someone who's ambitious, and all these positive things. Everyone's attracted to that person, not necessarily in a sexual way. But you can tell when someone like that walks into the room, everybody looks at them because they're a champion, they're a winner, they're a go-getter, they're an alpha person. If you become that person, you're going to attract other people like that, and that's a great way to live.
Absolutely. And you've also got to believe that you are that. So if I go back to like a personal experience, just a quick story, that I was a go-getter, I was doing all this stuff, but I didn't completely believe that I was worthy, that I was beautiful, that I was smart. I didn't quite believe that because of all the past experiences that had led to that point. So at that point, I really didn't have that belief. So the people I was attracting was losers, because I believed that I was a loser. So you attract what you believe you're worth. So you can up your worth. And the more that you do what Jake said, the more the things that you do that like that for yourself, the more you're going to believe that you are worth it.
Well said, well said.
All right. Jake.
Okay, guys, now I'm going to tell you about Maddox Coaching. Super exciting. This is what I do. Yeah, Maddox Coaching, right? It's a very exclusive group. Not everyone gets in. I turn a lot of people away. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why soon. It has a very, I designed and created a fantastic online component, an online course with it. So all my clients love it. It's got heaps of videos and assignments and tests. So really concrete all the information I teach, along with the one-on-one sessions we do all as regularly as you need them. Some of my clients need a session every second day because they're really suffering. Some of my clients only need a session every fortnight because they're doing really great and their relationships are 9 out of 10. They're almost there. They don't really feel like they need that much help. I only get 110% committed people in there. If they're not willing to give 110%, I don't let them in. Okay. Everything I do, I give 110%. So if someone says, "Oh, I'm only going to give 80%," they're not in. Every single person who joins Maddox Coaching achieves a 10 out of 10 relationship. That's because I only let people in who are willing to put in 110%. Okay, guys? Every single person who has joined has achieved a 10 out of 10 relationship. Okay, and I work with them continuously, and I really push them to get to that spot, and I work with them all the time until they get there. And that's why my clients have such good results. Okay, guys, check out maddoxcoaching.com. Everyone on this call, if it feels right, you're welcome to book in a free call with me, a free strategy session with me. We can talk about your situation, what's good, what's bad, what we can work on, and really brainstorm about it. Because being on this call, one free session with you guys, okay? Also at maddoxcoaching.com, you're going to find a case study video. It's fairly long, it's about a 20-minute video, but it's got lots of tips and tools and techniques on how to, it could help you with your problem. You might not feel like you need the call, but if you need the call, book in the call with me, okay? And join the group, Relationships the Better Way. It's a Facebook group I created. It's called Relationships the Better Way. There's lots of members. If you've got any questions or you want to post something in there about relationships, post in that group. It's a great group. There's lots of people in there. And here's something to remember about Maddox Coaching, guys. I don't need clients. I need people who want to change. That's really what I'm looking for. My whole goal in life is to help as many people as I can with relationships. Okay, that's why I don't need clients. I need people who want to change. Remember that.
And a bit about my coaching package. And I'm one of, I'm in Jake's group as well. So it's an amazing group. Join there. Again, yeah, I have an exclusive group. I only work with people who are absolutely committed. So if I'm feeling like you're not that committed, they don't get through. I need people who are going to get results, and I want to work with you until you get results. So if you're not committed to really working on yourself and getting that change and getting that relationship that you always wanted, then this is not for you. You get access to my signature blueprint, which is absolutely my bulletproof program, and you get support along every step of the journey. And as Jake said, like, you know, we work with our clients as much or as little as they need. It's dependent on where you're at. I don't know when you're going to need me. You might be in a situation where everything's going to unravel that we've taught, and you need me in that moment. I'm going to be there. That's what you get with me. Results coaching, I've got a free Facebook group if you want to join it, if you're not already in it, The Art of Attraction, where I give a lot more tips and trainings and things like that. And really, this is about a group of people who want to get results 10 times faster in their relationships and don't want to be looking back over their life and thinking, why didn't I do this earlier? Well, I've got a couple of things here. I might just skip past these 2 slides if that's okay with you, Jake, or do you want to go through them?
No, that's okay. We'll skip through it.
I think we'll skip through those 2 and just get to here because we've had a lot of questions and we're a little bit behind. So look, we don't care where you're starting from. We don't care if you're at the point where you're not attracting anybody, or you keep on attracting the wrong people, or you're in a relationship that's just not a 10 out of 10 and it's not feeling right for you. What we do care about is that you don't stay there.
And that's your progress, right? So this progress and commitment is very important to us. I'm a results. It's all about results. We are results focused coaches. Okay. Now, if it was easy and it's just copying what others have done, then everyone would have a 10 out of 10 relationship right now. And if you're anything like me, when you look around, you probably don't see that many 10 out of 10 relationships which are perfect. It's very rare. I think it's very rare to see, especially from what I've seen. There's not many, to be honest. Not many people have it all figured out.
Absolutely. And look, what you're doing right now might not be completely broken. It may be that you just need a bit of tweaking with your relationship, and maybe you're using a wrong strategy at that point. And what does work is just using that right strategy for the right level that you're at in your relationship journey.
Realistically, guys, you need a proven system. The best way to achieve anything, whether it's financial success or a great body or a great diet or whatever it is, you need a proven system. And that's what's really good about. So Paula Day's system and my system, they are different. We are different coaches. They are different systems, but they both work. They are proven systems. And that's the best way to achieve something, with a proven system.
And as Jake said, like, there's the easy way and there's the hard way. And if I go back to my client's experience where she was just going through YouTube and all of these books, and she was actually watching romantic movies, and thinking, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I can't get this ideal. And it was just so much information going on, and she just didn't know how to put it all together. So, like, there's the hard way. You can ask your parents, you can ask your girlfriends, and you can go look at TV shows and read heaps of books and all of that, or you can try and do it all yourself, or you can just copy a model that works, as Jake said.
Perfect, guys. So it's a proven strategy. We work with a proven strategy. Strategy is very important on how to get things. There's lots of different ways, but if you use a proven strategy, you've got much more likelihood of success. And that's really the secrets you get to get you to a 10 out of 10 relationship you want faster. So look, realistically, it took me years to get a relationship. I'm sure Paula Day's the same, to get that 10 out of 10 relationship. It took me a long time. I didn't know what I was doing for a long time. I messed up. I made lots of mistakes here and there. I didn't know how to do it. I had no idea. So what my course is all about is compressing years and years of knowledge on how to achieve a 10 out of 10 relationship and pumping it into a smaller 6-month period, which saves you a lot of time. You can mess around, beat around the bush, and go in all different directions, and it can take you 10 years. Now, you don't want to waste 10 years dating all these losers to figure out that it's not what you're looking for anyway.
Absolutely. So right now you're probably wondering, how can I get this roadmap to that proven system and not go in all of those different directions, as Jake said, and just get there faster? Because once you've got this roadmap, it'll give you that blueprint to get to that incredible relationship you deserve much faster, where you feel loved and happy and fulfilled every single day.
Now, guys, because you've come so far with us on this journey, you're all entitled to a free, complimentary, customized 30-minute strategy session. Okay, so Paula and I both offer strategy sessions. Just pick whoever you feel most connected with. You feel who could help you the most. Some of you are going to feel more connected with Paula. Some of you are going to feel more connected with me. So go to our separate websites, book in a call. You're all entitled to a free complimentary session because you joined this webinar and you sat through the learning process with us. And the reason we're doing this, we're giving away a free complimentary session, is because by coming this far in this webinar, you are showing us that you're committed and you're willing to work hard and be patient for results. If someone just wants a quick band-aid answer for their problems, the band-aid's going to wash off in the shower and you're going to be in the same situation again. So what you're showing here by staying on this, it's almost an hour and a half in and you're still with us. That means you're committed to achieving a 10 out of 10 relationship. And commitment is all I care about. If I have your commitment, then you've got mine.
Absolutely. And this will give you some clarity on what you really want, and you'll get clear on the challenges that you're having and how to overcome those challenges. So we'll develop with you a customized strategy to get you to that 10 out of 10 relationship that you really do deserve. And you'll walk away with that clear strategy that you can really action straight away.
And something to remember, guys, with either of us, the better the fit, the better the results. Yeah, we can't help everyone. You must be 100% certain that I can help you win. Okay, so if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. You got to trust your gut on this. Okay, because I trust my gut on this. If I do a call with someone and it doesn't feel right, I go, it doesn't feel right. I'm sorry. You got to trust your gut. I always trust my gut. Every single time I don't trust it, that's when bad things happen to me.
Totally agree. Look, it's for people who, yeah, they're wanting to have that 10 out of 10 relationship and they're ready to move forward, that they're committed, as you said, to getting real results in their love life and relationship.
Who this is not for, okay? If this is you, don't book in a call. People who already have their dream relationship. If you have a 10 out of 10 relationship and you're in heaven, don't book in the call with a relationship coach, okay? People who are happy being single. If you're 110% completely content with being single and you don't want to find a partner and you're completely happy with where you are right now, you're not in a position you need change. Remember what I was talking about? I need people who want to change. So if you don't want to change your position, change where you're at right now, don't talk to a coach.
Okay, so the next steps is just, as Jake said, might as well just pick one of us. Don't pick both of us because we're two very different people. It's just, yeah, trusting your gut, as he said, with who you feel more comfortable or guided towards. And the next steps is you can just DM us, SS for strategy session, and we'll book in a strategy session with you in the next couple of days to really go through and really help you get a plan in place that you can really action towards getting that 10 out of 10 relationship that you've always wanted.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really enjoyed all the questions, especially there's some really great questions in there. I love relationships. Yeah, I love talking about relationships, relationship coaching. I take a lot of my clients live in America. So I'm doing calls at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Okay, I don't care what time it is, late at night, early in the morning. I love talking about relationships. This is my passion. So realistically, thank you guys for joining us on this journey. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm very grateful for your presence.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining in. The questions were amazing. If you've got more questions that we didn't answer, just drop them in our Facebook groups because we love getting involved. And also you've got a whole heap more people to add to the questions that you've got and help you through those issues. And make sure you do book in that strategy session with Jake or with myself because you can walk away with a brilliant strategy that you can action straight away. Thank you again for joining us tonight.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.